something fucking told me, this is your chance to find out. I had postponed this video for so long. I made a video on this topic months ago in Spanish because I felt safe doing so because this person does not speak English. But I think it's time to make it in English because it's my story and I have to own it and I have to share it. And I want to share it with you in case you're going through the same thing and maybe it helps you. The time I filmed it in Spanish, I filmed it in a funny way, but it really hurt me for real. Like, I try to say it with humor and I was in a different stage of my life. And right now I'm more centered and more, I don't know, maybe more sensitive. So we'll see how this one goes because I'm very sensitive. So I may not make it without crying. Last time I tried to film it in English was a couple of years ago and I ended up crying. I couldn't film it at all. So we'll see. Luckily, I am in a better place in my life. I am in a stable relationship, but it's still a subject that is very touchy for me and very hard for me to talk about without getting emotional. But we'll see. We'll try. I always see things with humor and I love that. So this is the story of the time my boyfriend cheated on me with my roommate. And I have to start this by saying that's not the first time he cheated on me. He cheated on me multiple times with multiple people. But he would always deny it, and I never had actual proof. I kind of did have proof, but he would always make an excuse, and I was so gaslighted and so manipulated that I just didn't want to see the truth, even though it was right there. And I kept looking for proof, and I kept getting the proof, but I kept not wanting to see it because I was scared of leaving, about what he would do if I left, what I would do if I left, and what would happen. And nothing happened. Really, honestly, the worst case scenarios were I lived inside the relationship, not after I left. So let me tell you, if you are in a relationship where you're not valued, when you're not loved, where you are not respected enough, you can leave. The worst case scenario is inside the relationship, not outside. Look for support. Look for help. Reach out. Make a plan and leave. And I hope this helps you. So it all started, I met this guy online, as usual. And I met him at a time where I was very vulnerable, very, very lonely. I had just moved to LA from Mexico without my family, without my friends. All I had was a dream, a school, and my roommates. They were really cool. We met, I think in April. I got there in January. I got to LA in January and I met him in April. And we were official May 1st, which is crazy because it was super fast. And even I said I didn't want to go that fast, but he pushed it so much. Like, he love bombed me so much. And me, being needy and being lonely and always needing affection and approval, saw that as, oh my god, this is love. So we started dating and it was fine. He had a stable job, but there were red flags at the beginning all the time. Like, he would be late or he wouldn't show up. He would have excuses and I could tell he was lying all the time. And I was like, I knew. The funny part is I knew that he was lying and that something was up, but instead of confronting him or ending things, I ended up going to the psychologist to fix me because I thought I had this trauma, and I did have problems, obviously, but instead of listening to my own voice, I tried to shut it off by going to the psychologist. And this psychologist specifically told me that I needed to be more confident and I needed to trust and blah blah blah. So basically, shut down your thoughts because they are wrong and be more open and trusting. I wish I listened to myself, but also I think everything happens for a reason, and I would not be here with the person I'm with the life I have, if I hadn't gone through that. So I am grateful for that, but I do think that those lessons I could have learned without all the pain. So if you ask me, do you regret living everything you lived? Yeah, I regret meeting him. If I could go back and not meet him, I would. Because a lot of shit that happened in my life had to do with him. Economically, mentally, emotionally, physically, everything. Like, yeah, I would go back and erase him from my life. So around that time, I had this voice telling me, yelling at me, something's up, break up with him. And my own mind was like, no, you're scared of a relationship, you're making excuses, you're seeing things where they're not, where they are not, like, you are wrong. And I keep shutting it off, and I thought I was going crazy because something was up, but I thought it was my imagination. I went to a psychic, and that psychic told me, run away. Get away from that person now. Also, that psychic tried to charge me $700 to do a cleanse or whatever, which, that's why I didn't believe her that much, because she tried to overcharge me, which is crazy, but whatever. Don't put your future and your ideas and your thoughts and your decisions in the hands of someone else who's charging you for it, whether that's a psychologist, hypnotherapist. I'm a hypnotherapist, but don't put all of your life in them. Their hands, they're charging you. They're helping you, but it's your life, ultimately. So put your life in your own hands. You know better. You know better. You're not crazy. If you have these thoughts like I did, if you are second guessing something like I was, trust that voice. And have someone near you that loves you enough to tell you the truth and tell all the truth. Because when my friends would ask me, how are you doing? I would change the subject. I was like, I'm great and my school is going, but I would avoid talking about that because I didn't want to give them the details, because I knew there was something off and there was something wrong. After that, he cheated on me once. I found out, because I was texting him and this girl picked up the phone, or this girl texted me back. Then I called and I could hear her yelling in the background. Yelling, like going insane. And I did not see the sign. I had just started dating him like a month, right? So he didn't want to explain me. He got mad when I asked for an explanation. He said, he texted me saying, dumb shit. I don't even want it. It was so stupid that I thought, this is too much to be a lie. It has to be true. Listen to me. I thought that was too much to be a lie. If it was a lie, that would be very dumb for me to believe it. So it must be true. This is how much I wanted a relationship, that I was willing to shut off every type of reasoning just to not be alone. Because it felt like I was gonna fucking die inside. Because I didn't love myself enough and I didn't think I could make it on my own. After that, we were still talking. We were broken up, but we were still talking. He went to jail and he called me. I was his contact. I helped him pay bail after he cheated on me. This is not for you to feel sorry about me. I'm stupid. That was dumb. Some things I haven't told anyone. Some things I have, but some things I haven't. So I had to do some dumb shit to get that money because it was a lot of money, almost $3,000. I also loaned him $3,000 from a student loan because he said his car was in the shop before the cheating, before everything. His car was in the shop and he needed money to get it. And I gave him the money because he said he was going to pay me next month. He never paid me. He got a new car. That car was not in the shop or whatever. He got a new car with my money, $3,000. He bought a new fucking car with my student loan money. He never paid me back. Then after I posted bail for him because I felt bad and I was like, he's alone in jail. I feel sorry, blah, blah, blah. He lost his job. He lost his car. He got into a car accident. He lost the car he was still paying because he was still making payments on it. He paid $3,000 down plus payments. So his credit was shit. He went to jail. So he couldn't get a job. He lost his job. He lost his place because he used to work at a hostel. So he was living there while working there. He lost everything. And he moved in with me. I told him he could stay with me for a couple of weeks until he would find something. But it was at the end of my lease at my student housing. So he stayed there for a while. My roommates were really mad, obviously. One of them was mad. The other one was okay. The other one moved out already. And it was the end. So I stayed there the last couple of weeks. So I stayed with him. And then I found a place with my other roommate. So he said he was going to stay with his stepdad and his brother, and then he didn't. And I was in Mexico, and he called me saying, I'm going to be homeless. I don't have money. I don't have blah, blah, blah. Like, I had given him money, actually, before going to Mexico. And he said that his stepdad stole the money and kicked him out. So I told him, I don't want to live with you because I think it's too soon. I think it's going to ruin things, blah, blah. And I knew I didn't want to. But he got mad, and he manipulated me, and he was like, please, I don't have anywhere to live. Talk to your roommate, blah, blah, blah. So I talked to her and she said it was fine. Then she wasn't fine with it because obviously it was 3 people living there and only the 2 of us was paying. So I ended up paying for 2. We divided the rent. Instead of dividing it between 2, we divided it between 3 and I was paying for that. And then they got into an argument. She moved out and I got a 1-bedroom apartment with him. All of this time, he didn't have a job and I was the one supporting us. Then when I graduated, I had to get a job because I couldn't work in acting and support 2 people in LA paying a lot of rent. We were together for 3 years. He had the idea to rent out the living room so we could afford rent because he could not work supposedly because he had a record and he didn't have a license because he crashed the thing and they took his license and everything. Like, his life was a fucking mess. And mine wasn't at the beginning. My life was fine. Oh, and this makes me so mad because right now, it's so stupid. My life is not so much of a mess now, but my life got fucked up because of him. Ooh. I thought I wasn't gonna cry. I was gonna make this funny. Shit. Yeah, right. My life got fucked up because of him. His life was a fucking train wreck. His life was fucking ruined. And I was like, I'm gonna help him out. I can help him. I would like for someone to help me if I was in his place. But my life was pretty fine. My life was okay. Like, ooh, I did not think that I was gonna get this emotional. So, he couldn't work. He didn't do anything. Like, he would play guitar and bass and stuff. And he would play at a church and sort of make money, but sort of not really. And we rented out our living room. That's how it started with the Airbnb type of thing and having roommates. That's how it started. We had a 1-bedroom apartment, so my living room was occupied by people, and they would come into my bedroom to go to the bathroom, to get ready, to shower, to everything in my bathroom. I had to give up acting for a couple of years, for 4 years actually. Well, this is obviously not only the time he shared me with my roommate. Apparently this has become the whole story, so I'm gonna just tell the whole story because I might not tell it anymore. We were living at my apartment. It was my name. My fucking name and my brother. So we were living at my apartment. And he had this church group he was at. But everyone, he would not say we were together. He would not let me post pictures of him on Facebook. We were Facebook friends, but he would not post, but he had a relationship. He was single. He would not let me comment on his page, anything, because he said his ex was crazy and if she saw me, she would stalk me and blah, blah, blah. And turns out his ex wasn't crazy. He was still with her. Long distance while he was living with me. I found out later. Anyways, long story short, he had this group, church group, and there was this girl called Brittany. I'm gonna say the names because I don't give a motherfucking fuck anymore. So he had this friend, and I saw his text, and he was telling her he liked her, he wanted to be more than friends, and she said, I don't think so, I don't know, let's see. And I saw those texts and confronted him, and again, he made some bullshit lie, said, no, that's not what it is, I did like her, but it was just emotional, nothing happened, and my dumbass stayed. On top of that, he was very violent, he was very, very violent, he would get mad about everything, and it would be like if he, like the exorcist got into him, like a demon got into him, and he would yell with like this guttural, like, ah! Stuff like that. He would break things. Whenever I would find something on his email, he broke my computer. He almost broke my phone. He would push me. He never beat me, but he did push me several times. And I was scared. I was fucking scared. And I thought, I can't get out. Like, I didn't think I could get out because I was scared of the mess. I didn't think I could take care of my own self. I didn't think I could take care of an apartment. I didn't want to evict him because it's so fucking hard evicting someone in LA. And I didn't know what the fuck to do. So then a bunch of bullshit happened with that girl. Like, she came into my house one day and he said I was his fucking neighbor. Anyways. Things happen after a couple of years. He still didn't get a fucking job. I was at now I'm mad because I'm remembering. I am We moved into a 2-bedroom apartment because I did not want to, I didn't want to keep sharing my bathroom. And I thought, well, if we move into a 2-bedroom apartment, we can rent a second room and have our own room and our own bathroom. So we did that. After a few mishaps, because he would fight with everyone, we ended up hosting 2 girls from Poland. And they seemed really cool at the beginning. And then I could tell something was going on. I could tell something was up. They started hanging out more and more. They started going to Six Flags. I don't like Six Flags. I was working all fucking day and I couldn't go out. So they started going out, and he would bring her to the church. And I was asking him all the time, what's up? Something's up. And he kept saying, no, she likes my friend. What was his Christian? I don't remember his Christopher. I don't know. His friend Chris. Something. I don't remember the name. And I don't give a fuck. No one knows these people, so I don't care. Then, one day, I was walking home from work at 11 at night. And I hear a honk. I got him a car also. I didn't have a license, but I got him a car because his credit was fucked. He was making the payments with his fucking gigs. It was like $200 a month, which is all he fucking did. Because he had GR and shit. Whatever. He honks at me, and I see him and her in the car. She's in the front seat with him. And he's like, hop on, I'll give you a ride. And I was expecting for her to get out of the car to go to the back because it's my boyfriend, it's my car. But no, they sent me to the back of the car. And that was it for me. That was it. As if nothing else was enough. That was it for me. So I get in the back of the car. I was so fucking mad. I was so angry. So we get into an argument after that. And he says, I think we should break up. And to me, it was like, what? I thought he would never fucking let me go. I thought he would never let me break up with him. Because every time I would attempt to break up with him, he would threaten me to kill himself. To go to the leasing office to get me kicked out. One day, he grabbed Abby. Because he was very violent with Abby. With my dog. One time when I found out he cheated or something happened, I got mad at him when we were arguing. I said, don't hit her, or because he kicked her or something. I said, don't hit her. And he said, this is what you care about? This is so important to you? Well, let me watch out what I'm going to do to her. So he grabbed her and took her. And I was bawling, chasing after him. And that's so fucking dumb. And he threatened to take her and just dump her somewhere. So I would run, and she was very fucking scared. That's why every time someone raises their voice, she freaks out and she starts shaking, just like me. Me too. Because of that. And I was just fucking scared, and I hate confrontation, so I don't know why. I'm far from mad at myself because I didn't leave before. And I think I'm so stupid because all of the things I'm remembering, I'm telling you, and the stories, like, it's like, why didn't you leave before? Like, what the fuck? And I was scared that he would do something. And then things would get better, right? For a week. And then it would get really bad. And then it would get better. And then he would tell me he loved me. A week before these 2 girls came to LA, he said, I would totally marry you. I was talking to my mom. That's a whole other fucking story about the mom. I'll tell you another time. I told it in Spanish, but I'll tell you in English. He said, I was talking to my mom and she loves you. And I think I would totally marry you. A week before this girl came. So one day, that day he says, when the car happened, he said, I think we should break up. We should take a break. We should just be roommates. We're great business partners. Of course we're great business partners because it's my fucking apartment. You don't have a place to live and you don't have money. So he would manage the roommates. So he also had my fucking car. So he broke up with me and then he leaves. He goes to Taco Bell where I said, can I go with you? Can we still be friends? He said, no, I want to be alone. But then he goes and he tells the girl, do you want to go with me? And they go together. And then they don't come back for hours. And I'm like, where are you? I was calling. I was so fucking crazy. I would call him 100 times. I memorized his fucking number. I was calling him So many times. And he would disappear for weekends. He said he went to this retreat and he actually went to his ex's. This is why I'm so fucked up. Basically broke up with me. So technically he didn't cheat on me, but he did. He fucking did. So he kept saying like, we can work this out. After that date, he kept saying, we can work this out. Give me a month. Do you want to know why a month? Because this girl was only staying for 2 months. And she had a month left to stay. So he, in his mind, he thought, I break up with her right now so I can freely hang out with this other girl for a fucking month. And then when the other girl leaves, I can go back to my life as usual. Nothing happened. That's what he kept saying. And I kept asking him, are you with this girl? Are you with this girl? Are you with this girl? And he said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. We're just friends. You're crazy. I haven't had sex with her. We haven't done anything. You're crazy. I don't even like her. She's not my type. Blah, blah, blah. We were living in the same fucking apartment and I could see it and I could feel it. So one morning, I wake up. He was about to leave. I see him in the bathroom, smiling at his phone because he had the door open. I was like, that's weird. And then I go into the kitchen and I look at the door because the door was open, the other room, and she's in her bed, on her bed, sitting, texting and smiling. And something told me they're texting each other. Something fucking told me this is your chance to find out. Not to find out because I already fucking knew, but to get proof of it. So he leaves. I go into his laptop and I changed his password. I knew his Gmail password, so I changed his Facebook password. I see the messages and I see it and it said, I miss you, I love you. And then I saw that it went way, way back before he broke up with me. It went back. And they were saying, I'll leave and then you leave in 15 minutes so she doesn't see us. And they would hang out behind my back and he would get out and then she would get out and they would come back at different times. So I wouldn't be suspicious of it. So I confronted her. I went into her bedroom and I said, what are you doing? You're with my boyfriend. And she said, he's not with you. You're not together. And I was like, he was with me. And she said, no. He said, you don't even sleep on the same bed. He said he sleeps on the floor. He was sleeping on the same bed with me. We had sex a couple nights before that, by the way. But he said no, and she believed him. I confronted him. She called him. And he, instead of coming home to explain to me, where we had a relationship for 3 years, we were living together, we were supposed friends. I got him out of so much shit and I ruined my fucking life, my credit, my life, everything, my finances because of him. So he did not even have the decency to come to explain to me or even try to lie. He called her, she went out and he explained to her what was going on. And then I kicked him out of my room. He moved into her room. I didn't have a place to go. So I lived with them for a month. A fucking month. And I couldn't kick them out because, not that I couldn't, I could have, but I didn't want to because I didn't want the problems, I didn't want the confrontation, I didn't want the drama, I just wanted it to be over and I did not want to take care of anything because I did not have the confidence enough to say enough is enough and set my boundaries and say no. So I stayed there. She moves out, she leaves because she had to leave anyways. They were trying to get married or something. And then he tried to come back with me after she moves out. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. One of my friends helped me. I stayed at his place because he was going to go to Mexico for a month. So I stayed at his place for a month. I left him my apartment because I still had a few months in my lease. My car because he was making the payments. And he promised that he was going to keep making the payments and he was going to keep my name fine and the apartment fine and he just will take care of it and everything. So I moved out. I met someone online and I feel like God puts people in your way for a reason, for a purpose. Maybe not to stay forever because it was not meant to be. But if I hadn't been talking to someone during that time, I would have gone crazy because I was literally in the same fucking house as my ex and his new girl that he cheated on me with. So I moved out. I got my own studio. After a few years, I was able to quit my job to do acting. I got back into acting because my aunt told me something because I was like freaking out and I called her when everything happened and I said, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And she said, you're going to do what you went there to do. You did not go to get a boyfriend, you went there to act, so go act. What are you doing with your life? And I got back into acting. I found NLP and hypnotherapy, and I turned my life around. I was able to quit. He got kicked out of the apartment. I had to pay money to not have an eviction on my credit. He almost got me kicked out of my new apartment where I was living. He went to the leasing office to tell a bunch of lies. He stopped paying the car, so I called the car people, and they said he hasn't paid in months, so we're about to repo it. And he crashed that car, so the car was useless anyways. He left it in my garage, my parking spot in my building months before, but he said he was still paying, and I trust him. So for a while it was very toxic because we were still in touch. Even after everything, he got multiple new girlfriends, and we were still in touch because obviously he was in my apartment and he had my car, so I had to be in touch. But it was also codependency because I could not let go. Until he got kicked out of there, he got very aggressive. I got a restraining order. I got the judge signing it. All I had to do was deliver the papers, or send someone to deliver the papers to go to court. And at the end, I decided not to do it because it was too fucking much, and because I didn't want to ruin his life. He already had a past, and obviously he something in his record, so I didn't want to add something else. So I just told him, move out, leave, and don't ever fucking contact me again. So I ended up with a bunch of credit card debt. He bought like a guitar and a bass on my account on credit, and he didn't pay that. I ended up owing that apartment building about $4,000. I paid for the car $3,000, a car that didn't work. I paid for the registration of the car for 3 years plus penalties because he didn't do it. I got my life so fucked for this guy. So fucked for nothing. Finally, I got out. I was able to rebuild myself, to rebuild my confidence, to learn to listen to my own intuition. And it took a couple more relationships to do that, because I still had that. Is it me or am I traumatized? And it's always the truth. Whatever your conscience is telling you, trust it. It's your intuition. Don't ignore it, because I did that and it fucked me up. Anyways, after that, I was able to build my life up again, to build myself up again, to build my confidence. I got into hypnotherapy, into NLP. I was able to quit my job to do acting, to do what I love. I was able to find someone, to attract someone and manifest someone that was awesome, that is awesome. I was able to love myself enough to not let that happen again and rebuild my stuff. I paid it off, and I am so happy where I am right now. But I cannot ignore all the things that happened before and what got me to where I am. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people and giving you advice and telling you my story, because if you are where I am right now, I remember crying at night and just watching YouTube and people to distract myself, or tips on how to leave a relationship. So at the end of the day, I just want to tell you that this story basically is just to let you know that if you are in that situation, if you were in that situation, there's nothing to be embarrassed of. I am mad at myself for letting that happen, but everything happens for a reason, and it helped me not do it again and not go through that shit again, and to really stand up for myself, to speak up when something is wrong, when I don't agree with something. I'm still working on saying no and not avoid confrontation to the point where I'm just quiet because I don't want to cause waves. I don't give a fuck if I cause waves. I love myself and I know what I'm worth, and I'm not scared. I've been through shit and I got out, and I can go through shit again and get out. So nothing that can happen is worse than what I lived. You never know, but the best is yet to come. I got out and you can too. I wanted to share my story because of that, because I want to tell you that if you're in this situation, you can still get out, and it gets better. It really does. And if you got out and you think there's no man up there that is worth it, work on yourself, heal yourself so you can attract your match. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna post this video, to be honest, because it ended up more dramatic than I planned. I wanted to make it funny and but sometimes I told you I was emotional this time. Anyway, so that's my story when my boyfriend cheated on me with my roommate. Don't let anyone do that shit to you. Don't let anyone hype you. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're not enough. I even thought about having an open relationship just because he could not stop cheating. Be willing to make waves, to stand up for yourself. Whatever you want in a relationship, in life, or in anything, it's your own and it's worth it and you deserve it and it's valid. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope you like this type of videos. It's just my story. I wanted to share it with you. Give it a like if you found it helpful at all, or if you like to see me cry. Anyways, thanks so much for watching.